So I got put on blast on Instagram by a guy that I canceled a date with. So this was last year. I got the bright idea to download Hinge because I'd heard great things and I'd only ever used Facebook dating, and I did dabble in Tinder, but it was just not that great. Matched with this guy. He was not my typical type. Actually, you know what? Like I guess I don't really have a type. But anyways, I found him very attractive. I ended up getting his number. We ended up chatting and we chatted for a little while. Like I'm talking like maybe like a week or something. Conversation was super good. We got each other, like our sense of humor at like it was so good, right? And we finally ended up picking a date, which was super exciting. So one of the first things we bonded on was he did photography for a hobby. I believe that was in his profile. And now we just touched on it very, very briefly. Like I'm talking like, oh yeah, I also like to do photography. I guess silly me for not asking like further questions with the photographer. The day of our date, I was on Facebook and he happened to pop up on my suggested friends, and I'm assuming that's because I got his number and we started texting, and I think Facebook has that kind of like algorithm, or ended up finding his last name from the Facebook suggested friends. And I don't know, maybe I'm toxic or maybe I'm just a girl in this day and age where like if I'm gonna go meet somebody, I'm gonna do my due diligence, right? As I ended up searching him on Instagram, finding out that he had a photography page, which super cool. Love that. I wanted to see his work, so I ended up looking at his photography page, and that's when I found out that the style of photography that he did was, now I don't want to say it was like boudoir, but it was a lot more risky than that, to the point where I was like, oh, the photos actually were like very good quality, very artistic, like very, very, very good photos. However, I have 3 children and 2 of which are teenagers. And if you know anything about having teenagers, well, they're all over the internet and so are all their friends. So if I ended up going on a date with somebody and ended up, going further into that and my kids found that, that's just not something I would be comfortable with. Like as a mom, like maybe other parents can relate, but if there is full blown, and I'm talking like damn near OnlyFans, like nudity, like, and I get it, it's art. But I think that I just think of it a little bit different as a parent, that I just don't think I can be romantically involved or like build a future with somebody that is going and taking photos of naked women. That's just a personal preference for my life, and I think that everyone is allowed to have personal preferences. And not that he had any obligation to tell me that. He absolutely didn't. Like, we hadn't even been out on a date first. But it was a little bit of a shock for me. And so it's not something that really aligned with my life, just with having teenagers and everything like that. So I'm not going to waste anybody's time. I'm not going to waste my time. I'm also not going to waste his time. So I ended up sending him a text message. Keep in mind, this is probably like a few hours before we had planned to meet. And now, in my mind, this was the right thing to do. I don't know. Please give me a different person's perspective, but I don't want to waste his time. I don't want to waste my time as well. So I just sent him a super kind text, and I was like, look, I ended up stumbling across your photography page, and although I think your photos are very good and you're very talented, it's just not something that aligns with my life. And I just don't want to waste either of our time. So I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to cancel the date. When I was looking at his Instagram, I did notice he has quite a few followers, like a lot of followers on this page. Good for him. He chooses not to reply to my text message at all. And I feel like I was very respectful and like open communication with this person in my text message, and it was nothing against him. I thought he was a great person. I just I don't see how I can fit something like that in my life, and I'm not going to ask somebody to change for me. Like I'm just not. I don't think that's fair. I ended up telling one of my best friends about it, and she ended up looking at his page like an hour later, and what does he do? He posts a post on his stories saying, God forbid a man has a hobby, and like started lashing out because I canceled this date. And honestly, it had, again, nothing to do with him. It was just that it just did not fit what I wanted for my life. I thought it was done. I thought he just made like one stupid Instagram story about like, oh, God forbid a guy's like has photography as a hobby, like girls don't want to date me. No, it went on. He ended up screenshotting my text messages and ended up posting them all over his stories. He looked like kind of an idiot because what I said was very respectful, and I think any sane person would be like, yeah, okay, like this girl just didn't like what you did as a hobby and it just didn't fit with her life. Fair, like move on. So I kind of feel like sharing my text messages was a little bit childish. I feel like maybe I struck a nerve and I really didn't mean to. Honestly, I was just trying to be honest and do the right thing rather than meet somebody and waste time. The kicker of this all is that I recently downloaded Hinge a couple days ago, and guess who's in my likes? This guy. So anyways, I wish you the best of luck out there. Times are tough. We are in the trenches, but here's to dating in 2026.
Have you guys seen that video of the woman who had a guy stay over, and then the next day or the next couple of days he was coming back from work and he said, oh, I'm about to be on my way to the house? Something very similar to that happened to me. I had just moved into this new house. I was here for probably like a couple of months. I was talking to this guy. He came over and he wanted to have something to drink. Mind you guys, I have a wine cellar downstairs. So he wanted to get some wine, but there was no wine in there because I just recently moved in. I hadn't stocked the wine cellar yet. He was like, oh, do you have anything to sip on? And I was like, no, I didn't really plan on sipping on anything. I'm not a casual drinker. I'm not at home on a regular day just being like, I could go for a glass of wine. I'm like more of a social drinker. If there's an occasion or I'm trying to like romanticize my evening, I might do a glass of wine, but it's not like an everyday thing for me. I already had kind of peeped that he seemed to be a bigger drinker, much bigger drinker than I was. And it just really turned me off that he was being so adamant about this drink, right? He said, let's go to the liquor store real quick. And I was like, no, I was comfortable, you guys. I was probably wearing pajamas or a robe or something. This was like later at night. So I was like, no. And he was like, well, can I just take the car and go to the liquor store? I'll be right back. The car? You mean my Porsche that's parked in the garage? The car? Y'all gagged. I said, no, are you insane? And he was like, oh, I'll just be real quick. I'll be right back. He was trying to make it seem normal to me so that I would go for it. Are you insane? Like, I was like, yeah, this man's gonna just get a little bit too comfortable a little bit too quickly. So I kept saying no, and then he got upset and he like had an attitude with me. Why are you being sassy with me? Mind you guys, you're probably asking, wait, didn't he drive there? It's a whole long story. When I had first met the man, he was like renting a car. I didn't know he was renting it. I thought it was his car. Come to find out, it was a rental. His car got crashed or something. He had to give the rental back because his insurance wasn't gonna pay for it anymore or something like that. It was a whole big thing, but he was getting a new car in a couple days. So he Ubered to me. I didn't know that when he got there. So that's why I was kind of confused by the whole, take the car, because I'm like, just drive your car. And then that's when he explained all of it to me. So it was just diabolical. But I'm telling you guys right now, when a man starts to refer to anything as the house, the car, the keys, no, he's trying to establish himself as being like in ownership of that thing that is very clearly yours, and to make you feel weird if you check him on that. No, check them the first mother effing time, because I promise you it'll just get worse and worse from there. Stay safe out there, ladies.
Are y'all ready for an insane story time that's literally actively taking place as I record this video? So I agreed to join someone at their place for a real chill evening. Movies, card games, couple of cocktails, harmless. I've known this guy for a couple of years. It's been an on and off kind of situation. Nothing has ever transpired. It's literally like we're basically nothing, right? So haven't seen him in a while, so I'm just here chilling. So I arrive, and his loft or apartment complex is connected to a hotel, and I see that they have coffee, and I'm like, oh, like I'm actually tired, I could use a cup of coffee. So I order my coffee, and we're waiting for my coffee when he says, oh, my ex is about to walk this way. I said, your ex? He's like, yeah, my ex. I said, oh, does she live here? He says, yeah, she lives here. I said, oh, interesting. So So she walks past, and he's like, Ashton, Ashton. He's calling her name, and she's ignoring him. And I said, oh, she must be upset. She must be upset because you're with another girl. Are y'all not cool? He says, we were cool up until now, I guess. And I said, oh, damn. So we let it go. So 5 minutes later, I get my coffee and we walk to the elevator. We see her again. I'm like, oh my God, this is crazy. Again. So he says, he tries to talk to her again. He's like, Ashton, Ashton. And she's like, I'm good. And she's like, this is Cameron. She's like, I don't care. He says she knows about you. And she's like, I could care less. And her elevator opens. I swear, this is like a movie. Her elevator opens and we get on a separate elevator. So we go into his unit immediately. I sit down my stuff and he says, I need to go talk to her. It's been 30 minutes. And I'm just waiting for him to get back. But I'm about to leave, obviously, because this is hella disrespectful. Hella. Honestly, the only reason why I have not left yet is because I need him to reimburse me for the liquor that I bought that he already told me he was going to reimburse me for. And also he Ubered me here. I need him to Uber me back. Like, I'm already taking an L. I'm not taking a financial L either. No. And if I was not tired and I didn't stop and get this coffee, none of this would have transpired. Everything happens for a reason, baby. I'm good regardless. Okay, guys, I've had enough. It's been 40 minutes. I'm literally just about to leave. Like, fuck it. I think I was like unclear. Like, I said that we've known each other for a couple of years, but he's clearly still expressing interest in me. That's why I'm here. So, like, you can't be interested in me and like not over your ex. Like, that's crazy. Get the out of here. Okay, guys, I'm really trying to decide if I should I'm trying to decide if I should take the liquor with me or leave it here. Like, I kind of don't want it, but I bought it, so I'll just take it with me. It's fine. I'll save it. I mean, I'm sure it'll come in handy at some point in my life. The Uber is $20 and it won't kill me. Taking my caramel macchiato and getting the hell up out of here. I'm out of there, guys. How's that for a story time? Kind of unbelievable, right? Ashley? Yes, okay.
I look right on.
Yeah. So I'm back home now, and literally I haven't even heard from him. It's been probably an hour and 20 minutes since we arrived at his place and he left to go talk to his ex. So should I block him or wait to see if he's gonna give me my money back?
Christmas Day, I received a message request on this app, which I don't usually check, but why was I looking at my message requests on Christmas Day? It's quite sad, isn't it? Happened to see this message request. It said, I'm 6'6" and a lawyer from London. How can I apply to date you? Right, I'll put proof of this. Which I must admit intrigued me. It was like one of those anonymous accounts. And after assuming a couple of mulled wines, I decided to reply with exactly what I was thinking. So I said, highly doubt any of those things are true, but I could be wrong, couldn't I? Because I also thought this could be the old AI. You know what I mean? I was suspicious. As he continued to reply, it became more and more apparent that this person was a human being. Potentially not a 6'6" lawyer from London, but a human being. Then he asked my phone number. I said, no, but you can have my email. Which, obviously, I didn't think he would email me. I suppose it was a bit of a test. He did. He emailed me. We started emailing backwards and forwards with these lovely long emails that said things like, Dearest Rue, I thought of you today when... blah, blah, blah. Like something out of a Richard Curtis film. Within this time, he'd emailed me pictures of himself, so like I knew who I was talking to vaguely. And I really enjoyed it. We need to be emailing more in this manner. That's not a message for any colleagues. I was loving doing it. Oh, very sweet and very nice. Obviously cave and give him my number and we return to regular modern day form of communication of texting. So then he asked me to go for a drink with him in London. I don't actually live in London, I just happen to be there. I thought, oh, I can't, can I? Meet for a drink with a man from TikTok? Surely not. Surely not. It's outrageous. So I met him in Brixton. I was curious, and it'll be a funny story to tell. And even he said that. He was like, are you going to do a TikTok about this? And I went, no. I think now I've got a right to do a TikTok about this, whether he likes it or not, so stay tuned. So I'm waiting for him outside of this pub, right? And a bride and groom on their wedding day are having their wedding photos done, and I'm in the background, and our first hug, he arrives, and our first hug is in the background of this couple's wedding photos. And the first thing he says is, I know this is an intense thing to say, but if we get married, we need to invite those people to our wedding. And guys, he was a 6'6" lawyer from London. Couldn't believe my bloody eyes. I was like hugging his waist. Cock height. Well, no, not really. I mean, that would be quite convenient. Sorry. Anyway, he then hands me his card. He goes, I need the loo. Get anything you like. I'll have a Guinness, please. How trusting. I don't know what to do. I had a lawyer's card in my hand. Then we had the most wonderful date that lasted 7 hours. Only had 3 drinks. Laughed and we talked and it was so nice. And I just felt so comfortable. And he was very confident. At one point, he put my glass on his side of the table. So he was on the booth side like a woman. And he was like, I'd like you to come and sit around this side, please. Yes, sir. We have a wonderful time, right? He's having a lovely time too, and he keeps telling me he's having a lovely time. He's a bit like, I mean, they all claim they're Labradors nowadays, don't they? But I think he actually was quite Labradorish. We leave the pub, and he was like, this is the best date I've ever been on. I really like you. When can I see you again? In that moment, he books train to Bristol. Do I say where I live? Yeah, it's fine. Bristol to come and see me. When we were on the tube home, when I had to get off, he went, go out and leave the station and I'll order you an Uber, which I obviously refused. How lovely. The 2-week gap between date and train booked. We're speaking every day. We're calling all the time. I'm tee-hee-heeing away. He's saying how excited he is. Which brings us to yesterday, which was the day of this magical weekend we were going to spend together. And I rushed back from work after telling all of my co-workers that I'm having a boy over. I don't do this often. Start getting my flat ready. I tidy. I fucking hoover. I prepare my flat. I prepare myself. He was texting me being like, I'm so excited to see you, bringing you fruit because I've been unwell. Hey, you'll notice I'm in bed alone. Wouldn't it be crazy if he was next to me? He texts me at 3 p.m. and says the trains are fucked at Paddington. And I think, oh, bless him. Bless him. He's all stuck at Paddington with fruit. He said because of the storm. The storm didn't happen in Bristol. It was a light breeze, as strong as a toddler coughing on you. It was fine, right? So I'm like, that's weird. I trust my instincts and check the oh, I'm running out of time. Check the Trainline app. And weird, I'm part 2 coming, sorry.
The day is over, y'all. It's over. We didn't even make it to the mid-bathroom check-in. It's been 25 minutes and it's over. I'm gonna get home and I'm gonna tell you guys what happened.
Okay, we are on to Hinge date number 3. This is the consultant guy who speaks French. We are actually going to get mocktails. Well, I don't really drink. I don't know if he's gonna, whatever he's gonna do, but I just don't know if I wanted to commit to a whole 2-hour dinner. I've had a long week. Do I need Laura mascara? You know what, no. So this guy's a little bit older, a little bit more hopefully mature, hopefully, which I can appreciate. Just gonna refresh my hair really quick. Your girl is having a good hair day. Okay, girls. I appreciated that he picked a spot closer to me. I feel like that was really considerate. Alexa, what time is it? I'm trying a new concealer, the Kosas concealer. A lot of people have talked about it because when you're in your 30s, we can't just wear any concealer, okay? It's giving crepey, it's giving scary. I feel like it looks good. It's back to being a little bit cold here in Chicago. That's unfortunate. I'm constantly thinking, when can I move somewhere warm, My perfume for the night. If you want to smell like someone could take a bite, this Bianco latte, it smells like a bakery. I went to a restaurant with my friends once and I'm not kidding. This girl literally chased us down and was like, what is that? She pulled out her phone and she was like, I'm ordering it right now. Add it to my cart. And I was like, girlie, I got you. The throw is incredible. Insane. Okay, let me show you guys my fit. I would have preferred to have my hair up for this look, but I'm a curly girl and I washed my hair today, so this hair is staying down, okay? I was trying to go for a Hillary from Fresh Prince vibe. My jeans are from Levi. These are the curve line. They're gonna give you an hourglass figure, okay? That's just guaranteed. My top is Fashion Nova, my heels are 9 West, and my bag is Zara. Let's go on this date. Okay, I'm back. Let's start with the positives. He was a good conversationalist. The conversation was pretty good until he said something that was a deal breaker for me. So I know I was on the date for 25 minutes, but it really ended 15 minutes in when we started talking about what we're looking for. We kind of touched on it a little bit before we even met in person. So I was surprised to hear him say this. So on Hinge, on everyone's profile, there's a question that says what you're looking for. And the options are non-monogamy, monogamy, and figuring out my relationship type. Mine said monogamy because that's what I'm looking for. No disrespect to the people who are into non-monogamy. That's just personally definitely not what I'm looking for and not what I'm into. So he said that he was non-monogamous and that he was looking for his primary partner. And I said, yeah, that's not gonna work for me. I thought I was tripping. I'm like, there's no way I didn't catch that. I feel like I wouldn't have swiped right just because I would have known that's just not what I'm looking for. Lo and behold, I checked after the date and it did say that he was looking for monogamy. I'm not really sure why he put monogamy if he's actually non-monogamous. I'm not sure. I didn't even get a chance to ask him on the date because I thought maybe like I missed something and didn't read his profile correctly. But no, I checked my phone when I was walking to my car and it definitely said monogamy. So not really sure why he did that, but you know. So since that was date number 3, none of them were a match, we are going to move on to Bumble. Depending on how that goes, we'll try Tinder and then maybe we'll circle back to Hinge unless I find someone along the way.
Story time. I went on a date with a very famous actor and it ended up being horrible. So we went out to eat at this really nice place in Miami, one of my faves. Everyone knows him. And I'm like, Lord have mercy, there's gonna be no type of discretion. It was like the entire time people were in our face, looking, turning, watching, and I was like, oh, I don't know how I feel about this. Anyway, we sit down, we have our table, we order food, and I don't even know how the conversation ended up here, but he starts talking about how he hates when girls wear Fashion Nova. Meanwhile, I'm wearing Fashion Nova. And I'm like, yo. So I'm too embarrassed at this point to even say anything. At the time, I work with Fashion Nova, like as an influencer. This is back before Instagram deleted my page, but whatever. I'm feeling really cute in my outfit, but I'm like, damn, sir. So we keep talking. We keep eating. The food was so damn good. I'm trying not to eat everything because I can eat a lot and I definitely am a plate clearer, but my outfit was really tight and like a light color, kind of like a stretchy material where I was like, yo, if we do anything after this, I'm gonna look pregnant if I keep eating, so I slow down. So we start talking about family and his family dynamics and my family dynamics, and don't know again how this comes up, but I'm talking about my father and how we don't have a relationship, blah, blah, blah. How about this man starts telling me that I need to find a way for my father and I to be cool again. Sir, do you know this man? Do you know any of the reasons why we are not cool? Do you understand that there could be so many reasons, like he raped me, dropped the G, that we're not cool? Which he didn't, but either way, there can be a multitude of reasons that I'm not with him. And he was just like, oh, you know, a lot of times people's moms don't tell you the whole story of what goes on with your dad, and then before you know it, you have animosity for him and it's not even real. And I'm like, it's crazy to me that men will literally defend other men that they do not know whatsoever off of the strength of what's happened in their current life. So I'm just drinking more. I'm like, Lord have mercy, what is this date? And he is a little older than me, so he has that, like, I know what I'm talking about, like, slightly condescending manner that I can't stand. So I'm hitting him with a shake your head, Jess, shake your head. Because if I say how I really feel, I'm gonna flip this table and dip. So I'm just like, stay pleasant, just get through this evening. And then it gets worse. I don't know how we end up here, but we start talking about Rihanna. This man starts telling me how much he loves Rihanna, how much he wishes he could date Rihanna, how much he would just do anything for her, how he's like a super fan and all this shit. And I'm like, bruh, who doesn't want to date Rihanna? She's a baddie, she's beautiful, she's from the islands. You done know how the thing go. But can we not do that right now? Bruh. When I tell you this man, it went into strict and very definitive detail about Rihanna's appearance, about how classy she is, about how he felt like he would just suck her toes and just, it was insane. I knew I would never see him again after the date. I was like, yeah, this is dead. Like, we're never doing this shit again. I said to myself, it's so funny that a lot of women will think that dating men with status and dating these famous men is just gonna make life easier, when they don't realize that a lot of the times, not saying always, but a lot of the times when men have clout or they have money or they have some kind of status, they have their own crap going on in the background that you're probably gonna find out about, and they just make it really hard to deal with. And they're not willing to see their own crap because in their mind they're perfect and they're a catch and you should be lucky to be here. But yeah, I never saw bro again. -10 out of 10 would not recommend.
story time on how I was dating a man that I later found out had a criminal background, was married, and also had a live-in girlfriend. Take a seat. Okay, so if you've been following me for a while, you know that I am single with 2 kids. I do use dating apps, but I really only use Hinge. I feel like there's more potential on that website, and also, like, it's not people just looking for hookups. Okay, so I ended up matching with this guy. We're gonna call him Jay. I ended up matching with Jay on Hinge. We exchanged information and we talked a little bit. I'm not very much of like a pen pal kind of girl. I just want to meet you in person, see what the vibes are like, see if we like each other or not, and kind of go from there. So he was actually down for that. He ended up booking a sushi for that same night, and then we decided we were going to meet in a couple of hours. Okay, so when we met up, it was obviously an instant connection. He was very handsome, but even more than that, like, his communication was good. He was funny and suave. He ordered good food, and his energy was just really engaging. We had a really, really good dinner, and then when we went our separate ways, I was maybe gone for 5 minutes, and he texted me saying that he wanted to see me again. So within that same week, we probably hung out maybe 2 more times. And I actually like being single, so I wasn't expecting anything, but babes, the way things went, I was locked in, right? Locked in. He was attentive. His communication was fantastic. He texted back quickly. He called me all day long. But when I was busy with work, he was like, feel free, just call me back whenever you get a chance. He would joke with me about how I was going to have to fire my roster because he was doing such a good job. He even had noticed a prompt on my Hinge that said, send me flowers because it's Tuesday. He had this huge bouquet of flowers delivered to my house, and the tag said, from the roster, rest in peace. Like, this man was pulling out all the stops. So at this point, ladies, he got me, right? So we are talking every day. We're seeing each other consistently. I'm actually going down to his house, which is about a half an hour from where I live, to go work because he had this beautiful office. You walk in and it was like designed to the T. So, ladies, this was my first red flag because no man designs a home like that. It was perfection. And I was like, oh my God, like, who's your interior designer? He's like, I did it. I was like, wow, you're like a businessman, you're in finance, and you're an interior designer. Like, this is super impressive. So, like, all of it was like green lighting to the point of it being a red flag, but I just wanted to maybe enjoy it for once. I had dated so many red flags in my life. I was like, maybe I'm just not used to what a green flag looks like. I took him out to dinner to meet my friends. All my friends liked him. We were vibing, right? So this is where things start to get a little weird and my little alarms start to go off. He traveled a lot for work, and he would always like text me or call me before the plane took off, text me or call me before it landed, and then we would FaceTime when he was in the hotel. He was not a drinker, and so he would not go out with his friends for like after work drinks or whatever. He would come back to the hotel. Well, at first, his communication was super great, right? Communication was super great. Well, then it started to get, when he would go out of town, that his communication would get a little bit more infrequent. And he would make excuses like, oh, I'm going to hang up and eat my dinner. Why can't you just eat dinner on FaceTime, right? And so, but I had no concrete evidence that anything was awry. I talked to my friends about it. I told them that I had kind of like this weird feeling. And they were like, no, Courtney, you just found a nice guy. Like, just enjoy it, right? So I was trying to put off these feelings more and more. So the next red flag happened. So this man liked to take me shopping. He would take me and we'd go walk around the mall. We would go eat whatever. And he would go buy me things that he thought would look good on me, right? So one day out of nowhere, I get a text message from him that asks him if I plan on going to the mall that we go to together a lot that day. And I was like, no, do you want to go? And he was like, oh no, I'm taking my daughter shopping. And I just thought it would be like kind of awkward if we like ran into each other. So he was like, I was just going to take her to a different mall if you were going to be there. Like, yes, we had mutually agreed that like I wasn't going to meet his daughter for a while, but like I just thought that that was super weird. So again, I brushed it off. I let it go. Okay, so one night, my friend told me to take a look at this thing on Facebook, which I'm not on very much, but there's this thing called Are We Dating the Same Guy, right? She was like, just look on there. There's all kinds of tea, whatever. So something told me to put his name into that chat, right? So I look up his name, and the very first thing that pops up is this man's picture. And not only is it like a serial cheater, like look out for this guy, it was like abuser, criminal background. If you know somebody that's talking to them, have them contact me. So of course I put my name in there. The post was anonymous, and I said, whoever wrote this post, feel free to contact me. I get a message in my DMs, and the message says, I've been looking for you. I'm sorry, what? Okay, go to part 2.
This is going to be a story about my first date ever, aka the worst date I have ever been on and hopefully will ever be on. This is crucial context. I grew up a Jehovah's Witness, so I was not allowed to date in school, never had a boyfriend, never had a first kiss, none of that in school ever. So when I left the religion at 18, one of the first things I did was download a dating app because like I just felt so behind. I felt like everyone had their first kiss. I felt like everyone was hooking up already. I felt behind. So I was like, I need to do this for me. I was in my like empowerment stage. I was like, this needs to happen. So I download all the dating apps. I matched with this guy on Bumble. Oh God, just thinking back on it, it's like bringing up all these old feelings. This was 4 years ago, and I kind of trauma blocked half of this shit out, so bear with me here. I had very, very low self-esteem, so I was very intimidated by men. I didn't think men would ever like me. Never thought I would be able to have a boyfriend. Never thought anyone would ever love me. Whatever. All that to say is this is not someone that I would pick out in a line of men. He was like a gamer dude. If you're a gamer guy, this is food coloring. If you're a gamer guy, no shade to you, but just not my type personally. We're talking, this dude tries to mold me into his perfect gamer girlfriend. He, makes me download Discord. I don't know anything about gaming, games, anything like that. I never heard of Discord, but he makes me download Discord. He shows me how to play League of Legends. So for about a month, we're just talking on Discord, getting to know each other, and our humor is there, but like looking back, it's like, oh girl, you could have done so much better. Anyways, about a month into talking online, he's like, okay, we should meet up. I'm like, cool. So he's like, I'm gonna take you to Cheesecake Factory. Oh, by the way, I was 18, this man, I'm pretty sure was either 23 or 24 at the time. Keep that in mind. Looking back, I wouldn't have done any of this, okay? Looking back, I'm such a different person right now, but at the time, the girl that I was then is not the girl that I am now. The girl that I was then, she was so desperate. Poor girl, she was so desperate for any male attention, for anybody to love her, for anything. Okay, I'm like, cool, let's go to Cheesecake Factory. The day of, I'm getting ready, I'm excited, I got my best little fit on, I'm doing my little makeup, and then I get a text from him that's like, hey, forgot to mention, my friend is coming from out of town, and he's staying with me, because it's his birthday. Would you mind if he, comes to Cheesecake with us, and eats with us? Little old me is like, you know what? Sure. Your friend that I don't know you, but I'll definitely don't know your friend, can come with us on our first date, first time ever meeting, to Cheesecake Factory. Cool. Type shit. He's like, awesome. Oh, and also, by the way, I used to suck his dick in college. Now I'm looking for the cameras, cause what? Wait, one more time, rewind. I used to suck his dick in college. Obviously, I'm like, oh, okay, maybe this isn't a good idea. Then he automatically is like, no, it's okay. It was a while ago, and we don't have feelings for each other. It was just a really hard time, and we were both stressed. We were both stressed, and it was platonic, and we just weren't getting any bitches, so we sucked each other's dicks one night. 18-year-old, very, very naive me is like, you know what? Okay, let's think about this. It was a while ago. You know, he says they were stressed. He says they were stressed. He says they were stressed, you know, that all they had was each other. You know, just two bros helping each other. Just two bros helping each other out. Right. So he was like, you know, I totally understand if this is like a turn off for you. I get it. But I just wanted to let you know, just so I could like have a good conscience going into this. I'm like, cool. You know what? Sure. To hell with it. You know what? Because we're just doing shit at this point. Sure. Again, I would never do this. 22-year-old me would never do this. But 18-year-old little me, she was like, you know what? I am gonna be okay with it just so I can go on this date. I just want to push myself. I want to go on a date. And that's literally all I wanted to do is go on a date. So I went with it. I was like, okay, thank you for telling me. Let's still go on the date. He's like, cool, I'm gonna pick you up. I walk outside, I'm all excited. I'm like, yeah, I'm going on my first date, you know, woo! He pulls up. I see a sedan with not one man, not two men, which is what I was kind of expecting if it was gonna be him and his friend. No, not two men, not three men, 4 men inside of this Toyota Camry, Honda Civic, whatever the fuck it was. 4 men come to pick me up for my first date with this dude that I found on Bumble. I open the door. I see him in the driver's seat, the friend that he sucked his dick, in the passenger, 2 men in the backseat. I'm like, hey, who are all these folks? And he's like, yo, like, here's my friends. They all came to see my other friend that I sucked his dick in college that I just told you about 30 minutes before our date. They all came to see him for his birthday, and we're all gonna go to dinner together. What? I'm sorry, what? 22-year-old JL wouldn't do this, but 18-year-old JL got in the car still. I wish I could time travel and slap myself across the head, because what are you doing? But I get in the car with 4 random men. Multiple times in the story, I could have been harmed. I could have been greatly harmed, but it happened. It's in the past, so that's why I'm telling you guys this. I get in the car. Now, there's a Cheesecake Factory about 20 minutes from me. So I'm under the impression that's the one we're going to. So this man gets on the highway. He's driving. And he keeps driving. I'm like, all right, where the fuck are we going? Because Cheesecake Factory was about 3 exits ago. He's like, oh, yeah, so we're actually going to go to the one close to my house. I'm like, close to where's your house? He says, oh, Kennesaw. Kennesaw? For those who don't know, I live in Atlanta. Kennesaw is about an hour away from Atlanta. So I'm like, oh, cool. So I'm in a car with 4 fully grown men driving about an hour away from my house to go to Cheesecake Factory on a first date. We're all caught up. All right. We finally get to Cheesecake Factory. It takes a second for us to be seated. Oh, no, wait. I forgot about this. Oh, my God. We pull up to Cheesecake Factory. Everyone gets out the car. I officially, like, shake everyone's hands. It's so awkward and weird thinking about it. And then I hug him, and then it's, like, weird. And then the trunk starts opening. I look. Another man crawls out the trunk. They're all laughing. They're like, oh my God, dude, I can't believe you survived. I'm like, what the fuck? 5 men with me at Cheesecake Factory on a first date. We enter the Cheesecake Factory. It takes us a while to get seated because there's 6 of us. It's not even a date anymore. It's just a birthday party, and I'm just some random girl that is there too. I order a pasta. He ordered a juicy steak. Remember that for later. It's me, him, his friends over here. It's so awkward because they're talking about games and shit I don't know about, and college. Apparently they all went to college together, and I'm just sitting there and I'm just trying to have some sort of interaction with the man I'm on a date with. There's a family behind us. There's a family behind us, and there's a little baby. I start doing this to the little baby because I'm like, I don't want to talk to these people. I don't know any of you, and I want to go home. I'm talking to the little baby. I'm like, hey, little baby, hey, little baby. The baby's laughing. My date looks back, sees I'm talking to the little baby. He's like, oh, that's so cute. I love a woman with maternal instincts. You will make such a good mother for my children. I don't think so. What? At this point, my face is sun-dried tomato red. I want to go home more than anything in the world. I was like, you know what? Maybe this is just, I couldn't even tell you my thought process at the time, because like me right now would never do any of this. I don't know what was going on in that fucking little girl's brain, but I stayed there. The check comes out. He's like, oh, let's split it. Didn't pay for my food. So I'm like, cool. I finally get to go home. He's like, actually, let's go back to my house, guys, so we could pregame. Pregame what? My bad, I forgot this is actually your bestie's birthday celebration and you don't give a fuck about me. Right, so we go back to his house. I'm in this random man's house. I meet his lesbian mom. Apple doesn't fall far from the tree, does it? Anyway, yeah, they're drinking. I've never had an alcoholic beverage before. I'm 18 years old. I've been a Jehovah's Witness my entire life. I don't know what's going on. I'm sitting on the couch while they're pre-gaming. He tries to like start conversation with me a little bit. I'm on my phone scrolling. I'm looking at Ubers because at this point, like, I don't even need a ride home. I want to go home. But I'm looking at Ubers and it's rush hour and I'm an hour away from my house. So the Uber is costing $75 to $80. I am 18. I don't think I had I had a very low paying job at that time. I could not afford to pay $80 to go back home. So I'm literally stuck at this random man's house. I think he saw like how uncomfortable I was. So he was like, hey, why don't we like go out on a walk? There's a trail outside my house. I'm like, you know what? Sure, fuck it. Sure. I don't have anything to lose at this point. Fuck it. So we go. At this point, the sun is starting to set a little bit. So I'm like, you know what? Like, honestly, like, I would rather just go home. I don't really want to be like out walking with some random man. And he's like, no, it's okay. I understand. Bro pulls out a pocket knife and hands it to me. He's like, here, take this. If you ever feel uncomfortable, you can just whip it out. He was a very tall man. Definitely 2 times my body weight. And he gives me this puny ass little pocket knife. Looking back, I'm like, bro, that wouldn't have done shit. If this man actually wanted to harm me, that wouldn't have done shit. But my stupid ass took the pocket knife and wandered into this trail with this random man. We're walking, we're talking. He tries to hold my hand. I'm like, I don't want to hold your hand. I'm telling him all the shit about like my shit that I got going on. He's talking about his shit that he's got going on. And he's just all around a fucking weirdo. Bro tells me he has a breeding kink. I don't know what that is because I'm naive. I'm like, all right, don't know what that means. So he's telling me about it while we're in the dark in the middle of the forest in this walking trail. I'm like, oh, I fucked up. I shouldn't be here right now. This is a bad decision. So I'm like, you know what? I have to go home. I just cut him off. I was like, I have to go home. He's like, oh, all right, okay, I'll walk you back. We turn around and he's like, wait, before that, let me just, and then he swoops in, holds my face like this, and starts shoving his tongue in my mouth. That was my first kiss, by the way. And you know what? Because he just had a juicy steak from Cheesecake Factory, it tasted like steak. It tasted like steak and garlic and onions and tongue and gross. And I remember pulling back and spitting because I'm like, ew! It's so awkward at this point. I'm like, take me home. We get out the trail. We're back in his house at this point. And I'm like, okay, can you please drive me home? And he's like, yeah, I can in a second. Let me just like have some fun with my buddies. You know, he came all the way from out of town. He's here and all of our friends are here. I'm like, you know, it's all right. I'm gonna just call an Uber. At this point, the Uber's a little lower. It's about $50. So I call myself a $50 Uber 1 hour away from my house. I get in that Uber and I never look back. I pay for the Uber, by the way, naturally. I naturally pay for the Uber. And that was the weirdest date I have ever been on. There's so much other shit that I blocked out of my memory. Like, he had this weird relationship. Like, he had this weird, like, thing. Like, he was like, oh, can you wear overalls? Because I have this picture of my mom in these overalls, and I just love the way she looks in them. He had weird shit going on up there. He was not... It makes me want to throw up just thinking about it. Looking back, it honestly just makes me so sad that, like, the girl I was then, like, was so desperate to find love and so desperate to, like, be normal and, like, do normal shit that I thought this was my best option. And that's honestly what makes me the saddest. And it also freaks me out thinking, like, damn, I really could have died that night. If he wanted to harm me, he could have. He had multiple chances to. At the one point, there were 6 men. No, there were 5 men and 1 me. 18-year-old girl and like 22 to 24-year-old guys. I'm like, what the fuck was I thinking? But also, what the fuck was he thinking? And it led to a whole bunch of other shit. Like, my dad ended up finding our messages and he got really pissed at me. I mean, thinking back, it's like, obviously. But at the time, I was like, you don't understand. You don't understand me. It honestly caused a really big strain in our relationship. We're all good now, but at the time, it was rough. And then after I got home from that date, I broke down and cried. And then after that, I didn't go on another date until like 2 years from then, because I was so uncomfortable with men. I didn't even want to look at men. For a second there, I thought I was lesbian, because I was like, men don't even turn me on. Like, I'm not even attracted to looking at that shit, because that one man just fucking ruined it for me. But now I have a lovely boyfriend and I love him, so I guess everything worked out in the end. But yeah, that was the weirdest, disgusting, grossest, worst date that I've ever been on, and I would never do anything like that ever again. And I am so mad at myself for ever putting myself in that situation.
Obviously, I can never see this man again. He can never, ever, ever lay his eyes on me again.
Last night, I hung out with him. We were just going in and out of a couple of different places downtown, getting drinks, getting food, but mainly just talking. Like, he has a really good conversation. We were waiting for his cousin and her husband that were in town for this show to get out of the concert. They get out the concert, and then the 4 of us are bar hopping. Had a great time. Phenomenal time. He Ubered me there. He Ubered me back home. And so today I get up, just to do my regular Sunday 1-2. And he's like, oh, what you got planned today? So I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna, run some errands. He was like, oh, I was gonna run errands too. You wanna run errands with me? And I do. I do. So the first errand we run is to get breakfast, of course. We go to breakfast, and then when we leave breakfast, he was like, oh, let me get some gas. So he goes to Wawa. Y'all know I love a Wawa. So I'm like, okay, well, I ain't had me an iced coffee in a minute. Let me go in Wawa and get me a sweet and salty iced coffee. Hold the ice, heavy on the whipped cream on the top. 24 ounce, please. Haven't had one in a long time. And my stomach was like, what? You was drinking alcohol last night. You went to breakfast this morning. And now you done put 24 ounces of coffee with whipped cream in me. So now that we're actually running the errands, in and out of all the stores, doing all of the things, I'm in the front seat like, okay, when is the errands over? Because I'm ready to go home. So he was going to be meeting up with his cousin and her husband later, well, like around now. They were going to dinner before they catch their flight back to South Carolina in the morning. So I already knew he was going to be bringing me home. So I'm just thinking, okay, I just got to hold out for a little while and I can get home and I can handle my business. No, he wants to stop and get me lunch before he brings me back to my house. Sweet, kind, caring, considerate, but I need to go now. So we go to this place. The people in there do not speak a lot or any at all English. So I decide when I get in here, I actually am not going to be able to wait. I'm not going to be able to make it home. I got to go to the bathroom and I got to go now. So I asked the girl behind the counter, I'm like, oh, can I use your bathroom? We've ordered our food. I'm like, can I use your bathroom? She's like, oh, I'm like, okay. So I'm like moseying my way to the back, acting like I don't want to break out in a full sprint and run to this bathroom. And I see the women's bathroom, and it had some type of paper on the front with some words that were in Spanish, so I can't read that. I don't know what that's about. But I go in the bathroom, nice, big, clean bathroom. It's just a one toilet bathroom. So I got the space to myself. I ain't got to worry about nobody in there being in there with me while I'm trying to do what I need to do so I can get out, okay? And I did what I needed to do. I did what I needed to do, and I had to do some things, okay? And I washed my hands, and I got up out of there. I'm standing in the front of the restaurant with this man, and we are talking and laughing and joking, and we just waiting on our food. And one of the ladies from the back comes. She comes from the back, and she like got an attitude, and she's speaking in Spanish. Now, I don't know that language. I don't. He can speak just a smidge, just enough to, get him in and get him out. So he's like, wait, what? He was like, is they talking about us? So he goes up to the counter. And whatever they were saying to him, he was asking him like, speak slow because he don't really understand that well. So he's like, oh, I hear him saying, oh, okay. He turns around and looked at me. He's like, okay. So he gets the food. And we go to the car. And at this point, baby, I got room in my belly because them fries smelling real good. So I reach down in the bag, open up the container, and I go to put the fry in my mouth, and he's like, you sure that's not going to upset your stomach? I'm sorry, what? So apparently they told him that the bathroom didn't work. Well, why y'all didn't tell me that? I didn't know. So I used the bathroom and I flushed the toilet and it went away. The toilet flushed. I don't know what that meant to the staff in the back, but they weren't happy about it. And so that's what he was talking to them about.
I just went on my first date of the year, and I think it's going to be my last because it was so good. You might be wondering, no, we're talking about men here. I, against my better judgment, decided to have one-on-one time with a man. I said I like sushi. He said he likes sushi. Great. We decided to go to Blue Sushi Sake Grill. They have lots of gorgeous, delicious, cooked and raw sushi. We're sitting at the table. The waiter comes up. He starts asking questions. My date starts looking like a deer in headlights. He doesn't know anything about sushi or what he wants. One thing about me, one of my biggest icks is when a partner, a friend, a family member, anybody acts like they've never left the house. When you get around me, you act like you've been somewhere. Now all of a sudden you asking silly questions, acting like you don't know what ingredients are, like you don't have the power to look it up in your phone and see what it is if it's troubling you that much. not around here, partner. The waiter's like, well, tell me some things that you like and I'll recommend the best roll for you. This man goes, well, bro, I like ham sandwiches, lemon pepper wings, and sweet potato fries. Me and the waiter are just looking at each other because what the hell is he talking about? I'm wondering, is he having a stroke? So the waiter's like, you know what? I'm gonna let you look at the menu one more time. I'll circle back around. So my date ends up getting a phone call right after this, so he steps away. The waiter comes back to the table with a drink for me, and he's like, that guy at the bar over there sent you this drink. Assuming my waiter probably told the bartender what happened, and the old white man at the bar took pity on me and sent me a drink. So my date comes back to the table. I'm like, how about I just order for us? Let's get some chicken lettuce wraps and a thriller roll. If you know, you know, that's a guaranteed crowd pleaser at Blue Sushi Sake Grill. He likes it, of course. He likes me, of course. He thinks I'm a beautiful, gorgeous, cultured queen that's gonna show him the world. But no. Because you know what I didn't like? I don't like liars. And I don't like being embarrassed. And I don't like white people laughing at us in Black History Month. Blizzard!
And since we're all sharing our worst first dates, let me tell you mine. I never thought I was gonna share this with the internet because there's so many elements of this that's so bad. Here we go. I matched with this guy. His name was Gospel. That is his name, and I think his behavior that night was so heinous that he doesn't warrant anonymity. And also his name's Gospel. That adds to the story. This was like 4 years ago. We match on Hinge. And we're going back and forth. He says, hey, let's do like a wine and paint night. I say, that sounds so fun. We end up having a wine and paint night at my place. Now, I've since grown up a little since then. That was 4 years ago. I was 26, new to the dating app world. I was just inviting people over to my house for the first night. I've stopped scheduling first dates at my apartment. At the time, I'm living in downtown Los Angeles. He texts me saying, hey, I'm here. I'm in the parking lot. We were gonna walk to a Target that was nearby, and we were going to buy wine and painting supplies and have like a little night of that. So I go and I meet him in the parking lot. Right when I meet him in the parking lot, he does this number. And he goes, oh my God, I forgot my wallet. Now that should have been my sign to be like, oh, you should go then, because parking isn't free. I don't know what I'm doing, so I say, oh, no problem. He's like, do you mind? Like, I can Venmo you. I'm like, sure. I pay his $7 to park at my apartment. We start walking to Target. He's walking in front of me. I don't like that. We get to Target. We start shopping around. We get like paints. We get easels. We get a bottle of wine. We get to the checkout. Again, I forgot that he didn't have his wallet. We start scanning. I'm standing there in my head wondering like, oh, is he gonna pay for all this? Then suddenly, right when I'm at the register, I go, this bitch doesn't have his wallet. So he looks at me and he goes, sorry, I don't have my wallet. I'm like, pay for everything at Target. We walk back to my place. He stops at his car and he goes, oh wait, can I get my backpack from my car? Why am I letting a stranger with a backpack enter my apartment? I don't know. I go, sure, get your backpack. He gets his backpack. We walk into my apartment. He's wearing like a black zip up and like gray joggers. Okay? So not really dressed up for a first date. It's fine, we're just gonna hang out at my apartment. We get inside my apartment, we sit at my table in my kitchen. We start talking to each other. Again, I just met this man, so I don't know anything about him, so we're just going back and forth. We're sitting down, he opens up his backpack. He tells me, oh, I brought a gift for you. I say, wait, that's so nice. He is Nigerian. He says, yeah, in my culture, in Nigerian culture, if you go to someone's house for the first time, you have to bring them a gift. I say, oh, that's so sweet. He pulls out a diptyque candle. I say, ah, okay. He hands me the candle. I say, this is so nice of you. I put it on the table. Then he tells me that he just came back from a bachelor party and that he has party favors in his backpack. If you know what I mean, then you know what I mean. If you don't worry about it. I go, ah, okay. He starts pulling out the party favors. He has one party favor and another party favor. He asks if I'd like to imbibe in either of the party favors. I say, no, thank you. I just met you. I, again, should have been like, you need to leave. I don't know you, and now you're bringing party favors into my apartment. You've got to go. I'm just a child. I'm just a girl. I will say that one of the party favors he brings is, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, so I'm gonna say grass. Grass, and then another party favor. I for sure say no to this party favor, but I say yes to the grass. I watch him roll up the grass, and I'm thinking, okay, maybe this will calm me down. He passes me the grass, I imbibe in the grass, and then it doesn't calm me down, it makes me more paranoid. Now I'm thinking, oh my god, I'm gonna die. I just took grass from a stranger. I'm going to die now. I start to panic. I don't die. Spoiler alert. Now we've chatted, whatever. I've calmed down. Everything's fine. Now we start to paint each other. I actually still have these paintings somewhere in my apartment lying around. This is a new apartment, but I still have them. If you want to see them, tell me. We're talking as we're painting. He's being super cheesy. He's just like, at that time I had just gotten out of a 12-year relationship. He's like, wow, I can't believe a guy would have fumbled you. Like, look at you, you're at your place. My apartment in downtown was sick. Floor to ceiling glass. It was beautiful. Decorated very nicely. I can show you that too if you're interested. He's like, look at this place. Look at what you do. You're so successful. Like, how could somebody have fumbled? And I'm just like, okay, you're being cheesy. You don't know me. I could be insane. The best thing that came of this night is that he introduced me to Fleabag, which is such a good show. Go and sit on my couch. Now we're just watching Fleabag. Oh, side note, I told you I engaged in the grass party favor. He had been engaging in both party favors. So we do grass together, and then he does the rest of it all on his own, and I'm just kind of watching this man do this in my living room, and I'm like, who is this? And why am I allowing this? We're watching Fleabag. He goes, do you mind if I change into something more comfortable? I go, no problem. He then takes off his sweater. Underneath his sweater, all he's wearing is a white tank top, like a wife pleaser, if you will. He takes that off, and now this man is just shirtless in his joggers in my living room. Now, I will say he did have a six-pack, and so ultimately, like, that wasn't the biggest problem. I'm just like, okay, why is he naked? Like, I'm fully in my clothes. What is happening? Obviously, now I'm like, okay, something's gonna happen. Like, we're gonna get into something. We end up kissing. Okay, we're kissing, and then he's like, do you want to move to your bedroom? Fine, whatever, we're here. Let's get on with it. He was a good kisser, and he was fit. So we go to my bedroom, and now we're doing what people do in a bedroom. And this is the part that like really just makes me so upset every time I think about it. I haven't gotten over it. He has been imbibing in this party favor all night, so he is sweaty and but he's sweating a lot, and I'm just kind of like, this is kind of grossing me out. He is on top of me, and he is sweating, and he's making these like crazy noises, and I'm just like, okay, this is like really a bit much for me. On my bed, I have a $75 Anthropologie pillow that I love dearly. I watched this man grab my Anthropologie pillow, use it, and wipe his whole body down with it so that way the sweat gets off of his body, and then throw the Anthropologie pillow across my room. Oh my god, I've never been more violated. We finish, thank god. I'm so over this guy now. Continues to imbibe in his party favors, this man named Gospel, who's the son of a preacher. We finish, I go into my restroom, he walks to my living room, whatever. I come out of the restroom. Why is this man at my fridge helping himself to my grapes? I go, oh, you're really making yourself comfortable. He goes, sorry, I was a little hungry. And then he goes, do you have food? No, I don't have food. You need to leave. You know, at this point, I have no backbone. I don't know how to say no to anyone. So when he says that he's hungry, he goes, hey, I noticed a hibachi food truck outside of your place. I said, yeah, there's a hibachi food truck out there. He goes, I'm kind of hungry. Are you? I say, no. I kind of want some of that. I say, okay, well, it's right outside, so maybe on your way to your car, you can go get that. He goes, no, come on, let's go together. I don't know how to say no, so I say, okay. Walk with this man downstairs to the hibachi steak food truck. And as we're walking there, I'm just like, I'm so over this. I really just want this night to end. We're waiting in line. He's making conversation with me. I'm just like, please let this night end. We get to the front. He's like, what are you going to order? I say, I don't want anything. I'm not hungry. He goes, oh, okay. He orders lobster fried rice and a steak. As he's standing there finishing ordering, the girl says, okay, that'll be $40. This man steps to the side like this and looks at me as if he were a child and I was his mother, because remember, he doesn't have his wallet. And I should have been like, oh, sounds like you can't get your food. Sounds like you should walk to your car and I'm gonna walk to my apartment. Bye, see you never. I don't do that. I say, and here's my card. Go ahead, charge it. Jazz. I pay for the hibachi. We walk back to my apartment. I'm in such an annoyed mood. It's like almost 2 o'clock in the morning at this point. We sit in my living room. We're watching Fleabag. He's eating his food. He goes, wow, like, is this what it would be like to be married to you? Like, I could really see myself spending the rest of my life with you. I say, you're crazy. You need to leave. I'm never gonna talk to you after this night. He eats his stupid little food. I say, okay, I'm tired. Like, I need you to leave. He goes, okay, like, do you want to go again? And I say, no, thank you. And he goes, are you sure? He leaves my apartment. As he's at my door, it's like the end of January, so Valentine's Day is around the corner. He goes, hey, like, I'd really love for you to be my Valentine. If you're free Valentine's Day weekend, like, I'd love to take you out. I just go, oh my god, please leave. Like, please get the hell out of here. I say, okay, yeah, we'll talk about it later. Bye. I say bye to him. He walks out. That night, I sleep on my couch because I can't dream of sleeping in my bed. My bed feels so violated and disgusting. My poor Anthropologie pillow just ruined in the corner. I couldn't, it was a crime scene. I couldn't go back in there. Sleep on my couch. I wake up in the morning. His party favors are all around my apartment. I'm like mortified by this. I start picking everything up. I start cleaning. I change my sheets. I wash my sheets. Like, he's already texted me saying, "That's such a good night. You're wifey material." One of my best friends, Alana, I'm on the phone with her. I'm telling her everything. And I say, the only good thing that came of it is that I learned Fleabag and I got a diptyque candle out of it. No problem. Finally finished cleaning. I'm thinking, I'm gonna light that candle and just call it a day. The way that this man took his candle back. That candle was nowhere to be found. It was not in my apartment. When he was packing up his little backpack, putting all his stuff in there, he put the candle back in there. Months later, I get a Venmo from him, and it says, "No currency, just vibes." And it's like the exact $70 down to the cents charge. That was probably my worst date ever.
So I met a man in 2020. He was a good man. I love that man. He was totally my type, everything that I was looking for in a partner. So when we met, things were going good. And I'd say we got to about the third date before he ghosted me for like a whole week. He then hits me up and he's like, "Hey, I am so sorry. I've had a lot going on. I really want you to come over to my house. I want to make this up to you. I want to go out. Just come over." So of course I go, because this is the man of my dreams and I know he not just gonna do me wrong. Life is busy, of course. So I get to his home. This man's entire face is wrapped up. I'm talking about like from here to here. There's tape all around. I'm like, what happened to you? He's like, "Oh, I had surgery on my sinuses." And, he's like, "I'm not feeling well." I'm like, "Okay, then why the hell you call me over?" So anyways, I'm like, "Okay, like, do you need me to do anything?" He's like, "Well, I need you to open the door. My friend is here." His friend comes in. Mind you, y'all, there's nothing wrong with the friend. He's like really nice, really respectful. Like, he was over there checking on him because he had just had surgery. We're all three there, chitter chattering very awkwardly because his friend's like, "I don't know this girl." And I'm like, "I don't know him." But anyways, he's like, "Hey, Stace, would you mind going in the kitchen and fixing us some burgers? And let me tell you something. Who don't cook is me." I was like, burgers? And on top of that, I'm in all white. I ain't come over here to do no damn cooking. So I'm like, "No, I can't cook no burger." He was like, "Well, do you mind boiling me an egg?" At this point, I'm like, "Okay, let me boil this egg so I can go." So I'm like, "Okay, I'll boil you an egg." So I get on Google and see how long to boil a damn egg for. So I go in the kitchen. This is the most complicated damn stove I've ever operated in my life. And I'm like, I'm having a little trouble. So his friend comes in there and helps me turn on the stove. All while he's sitting over here wrapped up looking at me like. So the eggs have boiled and I give him the eggs. And his friend was like, "Oh, I'm getting ready to go." And I'm like, "Hell yeah, I'm going to go with you, homeboy." And he's like, "Stacey, would you mind staying?" I'm like, "Okay," because again, I'm not trying to show out in front of this man company. His friend leaves. He's like, "What type of woman don't know how to cook a burger? You've embarrassed me." I was like, "Hey, homeboy, I didn't know I was coming over here to cook a meal because I could have ordered something. Like, I'm real good at ordering." He was like, "I am extremely embarrassed." I'm like, "Okay, this is getting a little intense. I'm about to go." I'm like, "I'm leaving. I don't have time for this. I'm gone." And at this point, he stands up and he's like, "No, I demand you to stay. I can tell you've never dated an alpha male. You don't know how to treat an alpha male." I was like, "All right, okay, cool, bye. I'll own it." Y'all, this man's face is bleeding profusely. There is like blood just running down his face, on his shirt. And I'm like, I'm like, "Hey," he's like, "Shut up." I'm like, "All right, you gonna campaign for the Lord to come get you? Who am I to deny you the election?" So at this point, he faints and he falls back into like a little chair. Like, I think he was being dramatic, but whatever. So he falls back and I'm like, I'm not going to touch him because, again, I'm in white. And this was a beautiful white dress. And I'm not about to mess up no white dress for somebody who disrespected me. In high intensity situations, I find myself like I have a delay reaction to everything. So I'm just standing there waiting for him to come to. When this dude comes to, he was like, "Would you mind running to Chipotle for me? I'm starving." I was like, "Okay, I'll go to Chipotle for you." He gives me his debit card and I go to my car and I'm like, "You know what? I was disrespected. So I put the debit card on top of his mailbox. I backed out of the driveway. I left, and I was back over there 2 weeks later. Yep, sure in the hell was. Found out he was polygamous, but that's how that story ends.